coursing river.
Be a man.
With all the force of a great typhoon.
Be a man.
Raging fire, mysterious as the dark side of the moon.
Hi, welcome to All Things Creative, ATC, All Things Creative.
I was gonna go L.
Yeah, there's no L. There's only ATC, All Things Creative. Just don't listen to that because there's no L. The L stands for love, but that's just understood between us. But anyway, All Things Creative. I'm Kacee Pate. I'm so glad that you guys are joining in our conversation. We're going to have some fun today. Clearly, you've already gotten a preview. It might get a little out of hand.
Might get a little out of hand.
We're going to try to hone it in. We're going to try to hone it in. And I have with me the wonderful, the incomparable Sean McCoy has joined us today.
Thank you.
And he is going to bring a lot of value to this conversation. He is going to have a lot of great things to add and say to us. Sean is you are the newest member, one of the newest, I guess, of our City Life staff, which is very exciting. You are the worship director and the youth director.
Yep.
So you're kind of taking a spot that I had for many, many years, which brings me to why we're here today. Because one of the conversations that we're going to talk about today is talking about working with like generation to generation, bringing up, passing the baton. There's many things we could say.
Yeah.
We could say passing the baton. We could say the seat at the table. Creativity, of course, is all things creative. That's why we're here. And I think creativity is expressed and has a voice. One of the most powerful ways is in the voices of the younger ones coming up behind us. I think God pours his creativity and his ideas and his innovations into the next generation. And our job is to find everybody a seat at the table and say, you have a voice.
Yeah.
So let's chat a little bit about our time together so far.
Okay.
You have been, you've been in Houston 2 years now?
A year and a half. A little over a year and a half. I moved here January 2018.
Wow.
Yeah. It feels like it's been forever.
Feels like it's been forever.
For the first time in forever.
Well, I mean, you just joined our family and it just, the Lord just kind of did this cool thing where, I mean, we should probably get it out of the way now. It's kind of weird because we're a lot alike. It's weird.
It is weird.
I don't know. I put on stripes today and I thought you might show up in your stripes because sometimes we show up in the same outfits. Weird, I know. We're both Enneagram 7s.
Yep.
Strength finders. I think we have like 4 of the same. Like that's weird. Okay, it's weird. We reached for the same bag of chips the other day at lunch. Both took tomatoes off of our sandwich the other day. You had the same sunglasses as me the other day that you whipped out. And you know, it's weird. It's weird. So we should just get that out of the way and say like, I don't know, God did that.
Yeah.
'Cause we didn't know you. We didn't know you. But so that's why when you say it's been a year and a half, it's like, it feels like so much longer.
Yeah.
'Cause you just like fit right in. Just like a little puzzle piece.
Yep.
You just like fit right in there. Yeah, exactly. So as a younger person coming in, you're coming into a church staff. And that's kind of crazy because you've never done that before.
Did not plan on it either. Did not plan on it.
Because God, why did you come to Houston?
So I moved to Houston because I was working for a company called The Escape Game.
Wow, repping.
Always got to rep
today.
The Escape Game. Always rep
amazing.
them. So I was working for a company called The Escape Game, and I worked for them for about 5 years. We're based out of Nashville. And I wanted to grow in the company. And so they said, okay, well, are you able to move? And I said, yeah, send me somewhere. So they said, all right, send you to Houston. So I got in contact with Chris because our director of leadership development at the Escape Game was my youth pastor. And he was youth pastor under Chris. And so Brian connected me with Chris. And then, so I already was in touch with City Life and everything when I moved here. And so my roommate that I moved in with was at the church here. Quan, and about halfway through the year, I went on a trip to the Virgin Islands with my sisters, and God just like totally dropped a, hey, like I'm gonna change your path, because I thought I was gonna be at the escape game for a while. I planned on being here for a couple years and then move to another city, help maybe open another store,
Travel the world,
see,
do fun things. Yeah.
But no, it was in August, and then I think I started the conversation with you guys shortly after, and then it was probably a couple months later that I like officially accepted the position, because it was, the timing was crazy, because Emmett was like looking, to move to do something different with his job. You guys were looking for a full-time person, and then me and Ben were already like kind of setting the grounds for the youth stuff, and then Ben gets snatched out to Tallahassee, and so it was like everything just landed perfectly where it needed to be. Nope.
You came for something else, but we really know why God brought you here. But I was moving into the role of creative director kind of for the first time in forever. You did it because you said it.
I had water in my mouth.
You did it.
I meant coffee in my
Coffee
mouth.
Coffee water.
That's why I didn't do it.
But I was in the process of transitioning, and so all these years, because my husband and I went into full-time ministry extremely early, much like yourself. We were 21 years old, and wow. So for all of these years, in my mind, I'm the next generation. I'm young. I'm working. We're working. And I look up, and all of a sudden, we've been in Houston pastoring 9 years. And I'm like, I'm not the next generation anymore. Like, I'm like the next generation, not the next generation. And I think that's a moment for people in my age group, like maybe 30s, mid, upper 30s. This is the last few months I can have a 3 in front of my name, so I'm really hanging on to it. But I think it's a strange thing, like just from my perspective. So it's like I did kind of have that moment of like I've always been about the next generation. Of course, we have children. Like we were youth pastors and campus. Like we're so passionate about that. But I considered myself that in that group for a long time. That's about the time we started talking to you, and God was moving me out of worship, because here's a moment where I do feel my age. Because if we're looking at numbers and stats, okay, I started leading when I was about 17 years old at some capacity. And I'm about to be 40, which means I have been doing worship at some capacity and leading for 23 years, and you are
23
years old. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's like one of those moments where I'm like, I really feel my age right now. So all that to say, though, that's a long time to do something.
Yeah.
So to think about, wow, I'm going to kind of pull out and pull away from this is a little scary.
Yeah.
It's a little hard. And so I understand where people come from when it's like, I know we need to pass the baton. I know we need to do this, but it's another thing to actually do it. To say like, hey, I see something in you. I see that God has put leadership in you and gifts in you, and to believe in you enough to give you the space, to give you a seat at the table, to give you a voice. Which I hope that we're doing, we try to do.
Oh, you guys have, for sure.
Like, I really, I'm in that, like, there's a tension, right? Because there's a tension of, like, kind of my mom mode comes on sometimes, and I want to be, like, really protective, or I want to, like, maybe hold on a little longer than I should. So I'm in that tension place right now of when do I walk alongside, and when do I go, okay, you go. So it's kind of a tension thing, and I know it's probably a tension for you as well. So I kind of shared a little bit of my perspective about where my brain was at, and my side of the baton. There's two ends of the baton, my end and your end. So that was a little bit about my perspective, and maybe some of the mental things that I went through and challenges about just this process. So why don't you share a little bit about just being a younger leader, stepping into this role, being on a church staff and all of those things, and maybe just some of the internally mental things that you've kind of been through since you've been on staff.
Yeah. So it's been really nice to step into the structure, because when you put the word Sean and the word structure close to each other, you're like, why are those words so close? I'm just not I am a flow, go with the flow, not like go with the flow as in like with the crowd, but like, you feel.
It's an important distinction.
You feel out what's happening.
Yeah,
The last thing that I naturally do is to sit down and make a plan, or to sit down and like, okay, I'm going to get these structures in place. I'm like, give me a paintbrush and give me a canvas, and then I'll just find a way to make this picture.
Yeah.
I'll just find a way instead of like, no, let me go to the store and like get some stuff. So that was really nice to already have that structure. It has been challenging sometimes to, like, if I forget to do something and people are like, oh, well, I didn't think that we were doing this thing because you didn't do that. And I'm just like, my job.
Yeah.
Like, that's my job. So sometimes that kind of, like, it doesn't hurt bad, but I'm just like, oh, I got to get over that. But, yeah, that's been a little bit tough versus if it was, like, something that I created. It's like, well, I created it, so, well, I can flex the way I want to. But I'm really thankful for what Emmett, built so that I could just walk into it and improve on it. And,
Sure.
you guys have been really nice to, like, say, hey, like, if you want to change anything, you have complete liberty to do that. But after looking at it, I'm like, I don't need to. Like, this is really good, and I need this foundation, and so I'll just build, maybe later on I'll be like, you know what? Like, in even the way that we have our worship manual, like, I was looking through that, and I was like, you know what? Like, some of the stuff in the worship manual and our contract, like, are the same. We don't really need both.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll throw that out.
Yeah, sure.
And I am not a I hate confrontation. I thought I didn't. I thought I didn't hate it, but I hate it. I really do.
You figured out you do.
I really do. And I will, like, the natural thing for me to do is to just pull back, go back to my room, close the door, pretend that nothing's happening. And yeah, but I can't do that.
No.
I
These are the kind of conversations we have, right?
Yeah, all
Because,
the time.
like, you'll call me and you'll be like, okay, so, in this situation,
What do
like,
I do?
how would you handle, or in the past, how have you, and actually I love that about you, and I think that's so cool, because I think that's a really great thing to talk about when you're working together and you're raising up people, that you're so teachable and you've gone into this with such an open, like, I think sometimes when you're young, like, I can remember being your age and leading a team and feeling very intimidated sometimes. I think it's really just a sign of your humility and just your character that you walk into that environment. You have godly confidence in what you're doing, but at the same time, you're not afraid to call me and be like, can we talk about this?
Yeah.
Because this is really hard. I
Yeah.
don't want to have this conversation. And I'm able to just kind of come in and share, just leadership things. But we're doing leadership. I'm transferring leadership onto you by us just doing life together and walking. So how do you deal with that? Like, how do you work on your confidence when you maybe walk into a situation and you're like, yeah, I'm probably the youngest one here.
Yeah.
So,
I'm asking that same question.
It's
every
okay.
day.
And we can just be real about it.
Yeah.
Like, because it's so hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest things about being a young leader.
Yeah. I mean, there's the times that I'm the most comfortable, like, I don't know, critiquing people, are the ones that I have a relationship with. And I've heard that so many times, but it's always true. Like, I know, like, there's certain people, I'll call him out because I know that he doesn't care. But Timothy McBreen.
Your roommate.
My roommate. My bro. When he plays on the team, I know that, like, I can with confidence call him out on something. I mean, he is never, not never, but
he's amazing. He's awesome.
an incredible
he
musician.
Is. Very gifted.
Always comes prepared, and even if he doesn't, like, it's only because he had to come in last minute or something, and he didn't have time to prepare. But if there is something where I'm like, hey, you need to play this different, I have that relationship with him, and I don't, like, my mind isn't, ooh, do I need to say this the right way?
Right.
I'm like, no, I know who Tim is.
Right.
We know each other. Hey, bro, you played that wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Play like this. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But with somebody that I, don't have that relationship with, that's when I'm like, Oh man, so yeah, that's weird that you played that note. Man, that's weird. That's crazy. Crazy how you put the wrong note. I don't do that. That's extreme.
Don't. You do not do
that.
But
internally, that's what's happening. I'm like, how do I say this?
Approach this.
But I don't know, like the more that I've talked to people about this stuff, it's almost like I'm doing it to myself, thinking that people are like, oh my gosh, Sean is such a critique person. Critical. So such a critical person. Mm-hmm. But in reality, like, they're not.
No. And would you feel like that some of that is probably becomes your own projections, like, versus reality? Like, in those situations when you feel intimidated, or you feel like, would you feel like that is probably more, or is there both and, or is it like, I'm probably projecting this more than this actually exists? Like, I'm building this up in my mind.
Yes. Yeah. I definitely make things way more like critical and crazy in my head than they actually are. Yeah. I mean, I've had several conversations with people here where like I said something and then I would like avoid them, and then like later I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I'm so sorry that I said this thing, and they're like, I didn't even think twice about it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So that's really difficult for me. Yeah. Yeah. That's really difficult for me because that's just something that I've always struggled with. Yeah. You know.
And I think when you're younger too, you're like so much more aware of that, because I think you feel like you have to, every single conversation, sometimes you feel like you just have to like knock it out of the park, or you have to say exactly the right thing, or do the right action in that moment. I think the pressure is more on you when you're younger to feel that, because you feel like everybody's looking at you. It's the job of people like me who are walking alongside of people like you to help take some of that pressure off, to remind you that, hey, you're just a person, you know, like, but also to help build that confidence in you, right? Like, we have those conversations too about like, no, God has called you, and God's put you here, and we are showing honor and respect to the calling in you, and we're not expecting you to be perfect. Yeah. But we see what's in you. We see the potential. Yeah. And as we're talking about the next generation, I think there are so many amazing things that like campus students, high school students, and junior high, just the younger voices bring to the table. And it's our job to make room at the table to get us. I knew you were gonna do that. I almost did it for you because I knew you were gonna do that. Shout out to Every Nation Music. Hey. We love ya. But
new album's coming out pretty soon. Make sure you get it.
That's right.
It's really good.
That's right. It is gonna be amazing. But it's our job to make a seat at the table for voices, for younger voices, and say you have value. You have a place at the table. Yeah. But in that, what do you think, in your opinion, what do you think is one of like the best things about, like, if you're looking at maybe like my kids or even like yourself, your peers, what do you think is one of the best things that your kind of age category brings to that table when they come to that seat? Like, what do they offer to the context of like the kingdom, and what do you think is like one of the best things?
Are you saying young people?
I'm saying like younger than me, in my 30s. So you can interpret that as you will. Okay. So.
Well, here's one thing that I really enjoy about teenagers. Yeah. They are not afraid to embrace the random.
Totally.
And there is a creative. This sounds funny, but there's a different layer of creativity that comes from like having a random idea and just do it.
And doing it. Right there. Yeah. Right there. Yeah.
You've seen all the videos that I've made with your kids.
I have.
I will have this random idea for a video, and I'll just buckle down and spend like 5 hours on this video because I'm like, I have this vision, and it makes no sense. It's super random.
Very random. Yeah.
But it brings me a lot of joy to do that, and I love when other people do that too. And they're like, oh yeah, no, that's just stupid. That's weird. I'm like, no, do it. Just be like, go and create something. Yeah. Yeah. I did that all the time when I was in high school. I still do it. Yeah. Embracing the randomness of life sometimes.
It's so great. And
It
it's
doesn't
almost
have to
just like
work out.
there's that filter of fear is just not there.
Yeah.
Like when you're younger, and I, in my opinion, I think that's one of the best things that you guys bring to the table is that, like, let's just do it. Again, like these episodes, like part of the culture we're trying to create at our church is a culture of
Why not?
You've been doing your homework. Good job. But yeah, it's true. Like we're trying to build this culture of why not. And part of why not is let's just do it. Like who cares? Who cares if it seems stupid? Who cares if it's never been done? Who cares if like people are going to look at it and not understand? There's like the actual gap between the idea and doing it, I think, is way shorter. Yeah. And your high school students, your campus, in young 20s, I just think I love that spirit of enthusiasm and creativity that just says, let's go for it. Let's just do it. Again, if we're trying to take risks, if we're trying to bring the gospel to a group of people that it's not going to work the way we did it 10 years ago. It may not even work the way we did it 5 years ago. Yeah. You're going to need some new ideas. Yeah. And those ideas are coming from those people. They're not going to come from you. Like, I'm saying me, like I'm pointing to myself. Like maybe they are, but the reason that they might come from me is because I'm listening to voices. Like I'm listening to my teenagers. Like I'm looking at what they're interested in right now. I'm listening to the way they talk. Yeah. And not just so I can say, the bop that slaps or, whatever.
The bop.
The bop, which I actually love saying that. But not just for like the language and the lingo, but I'm listening to like what's getting your attention, what things are capturing your heart. And so I love that. I love that about you, and I love that about people like you who come to the table and you're just like, I did this. Like it's crazy. It's people might, look at your meme or whatever it is and just go like, I do not get this at all. But like you did it and you had a blast doing it. And so I think you have brought that into our staff. I think people are smiling more and laughing more, and you're helping create that culture of why not in our church. And I thank you for that. Okay, so before we kind of cut to our next segment, and we are talking about creativity, we are talking about you being a highly creative person, I wanted to ask you what are just some sources of creativity for you? Like, where do you go for inspiration? What inspires you? What things like really get you fired up about creating a song or a meme or any of those things? Like, what are some of your sources? What are your go-tos?
Man, I don't even know where to start. Well, I do watch a lot of videos.
YouTube?
Well, lately I've been watching them on Instagram.
Okay.
I follow several accounts on Instagram that are like, a lot of it's kind of funky, groovy stuff. Yeah. And
like music?
So it's all music. Lots of music stuff. So when I'm going through my feed, some people like to look at cool pictures. I'm like, pictures are cool, but let me like hear a cool melody. I have a lot of those just always trickling into my ear about just a new sounding melody or a guitar part. I love being outside. Like if I don't go outside and just, I have a if you ever come to the Stockade, which is the name of the house that
their house has a name.
It's called the Stockade. There are currently 6 dudes living there. 6 dudes. Wow. We only have a 6 person for like 2 weeks, but we have a big tree in the front yard. Okay. And I love to climb.
I know where you're going with this.
I love to climb it.
You're getting up in it, aren't you?
Yeah,
you are.
I put a rope on it so that it's easier to get up to the like part that you can actually climb on. Otherwise, you kind of have to like do the whole ninja move to get up it, which is
you
still
probably
fun.
Also do.
Still that,
yeah,
but
I'm sure you
it's
do.
a little easier to just climb up the rope. But then I hung a hammock from way up top, so I'm pretty high up in the air, and I felt a little unsafe the first time I did it.
Well,
and so I have a harness now that I hook onto when I'm in it, so that I feel a little more safe. So if something does happen, at least I can swing back and forth in safety.
But you're in the tree.
I'm in the tree.
And God is just speaking to you and just downloading in you in that tree.
No, doing stuff like that, like climbing a tree, This will sound really. Well, maybe you're not surprised. Actually, probably.
I'm not gonna. I probably won't.
Sometimes I will go outside at night and put headphones on and go to. There's like a little. It's called a pocket park right behind our neighborhood. It's kind of in between two little parts. But I will put on music and I'll just start going ham, like dancing in this field, jumping around,
there it is.
skipping,
Okay.
just get all that energy out, and then I feel like I feel inspired after I do that. I like to make paper boats, so sometimes just making the paper boats gets my gears turning.
That's amazing. Wow.
I watch a lot of Marvel movies.
Okay.
There's a few movies on Netflix.
Yeah.
Marvel movies that I watch on repeat, and I just love it. I just love it. I feel really inspired.
It inspires you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
to
good
watch
art
those.
will do that. I mean,
Yeah.
whether it's a movie, whether it's a play or a show that you're listening to music, like good art.
Yeah.
Like for me too, like that is one of the biggest sources of inspiration and creativity for me is when you see people doing art, no matter what kind of art it is, sometimes they are the art because they embody it so much they just become the art.
Yeah.
Sometimes seeing that just inspire, like I'll leave a show, a play, and just want to go home and create. I just want to go like write a song. I just want to go like put together a play. So I think, so if you're taking notes, paper boats, climbing in trees, random late night dancing when you're all alone. If you just need a list of sources of inspiration, look no further than Sean McCoy. Great job. You know what? Because this is passing the baton to the next generation. This is my symbolic way of passing the baton.
Get the picture. Where's the flash photography?
I am letting you have the sacred thumb of feedback. So you put it over here. But
this isn't as heavy as I thought it was.
It's not. But because I am showing the symbolism of passing the baton on, you may now take the thumb, and at any time you can give me the thumbs up. Okay. Or the thumbs down.
Or the thumbs down.
But I mean, let's just hope that I don't say anything that you would put your thumb down.
Well,
anyway, so passing the baton, the symbolic transfer to the next generation.
And being really like unafraid to do it, because I know that it's easy to like hold on to what's been done and to just keep it that way. Mm-hmm. But you really restrict your own vision when you don't let somebody else pour into it. Because there's been so many times where I will write a song or something and I'm like, man, I just can't finish this thing. Yeah. And like somebody who's younger, who has just a totally different viewpoint brings something and I'm like, wow, I would have never gotten that if I hadn't reached back.
Yeah, I love that. You can actually become the obstacle to your own legacy if you don't get out of the way.
Yeah.
And so that's the season of life that Chris and I are in right now is very much that. Is very much like we're very concerned about what's coming behind us. We're very concerned about City Life Church existing 100 years from now. Yeah. And if City Life Church was removed out of this neighborhood, the city would notice and miss it because we have made a mark. And that doesn't come with just us doing our little thing for, 30, 40 years. We're thinking about making a legacy that lasts. And that includes us getting out of the way so that others can come behind, catch the vision. It's the same vision. So that's what we want to transfer. But the way you do it is what changes because we want you to do it your way. Like we want you to hold the vision and the values of what we're about, our mission, but we want you to take it and run with it. So the baton is being passed. We're moving into a very exciting season and we are so glad that you're here with us being a part, an honorary Pate, because you have your own amazing family, which we adore and love. But you're an honorary Pate because, you just fit right into our family. So way to go, honorary Pate. And great, thanks for being here. Well, we're moving into this fun segment we call the Fave 5.
Fave 5.
Fave 5. And since you're such a fan of all things creative, you've seen the Fave 5 before. Okay, first question. We want to know a little bit more about Sean McCoy.
Okay.
What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? Well, it changes.
As it would being an Enneagram 7, because that's my same answer.
Yeah.
But go
So
ahead.
right now, my favorite food are pupusas.
Okay.
Pupusas.
It's a very specific answer.
Yes, they are. They come from El Salvador, and they are also in Honduras. They eat them there too. But it's like a flour pancake with meat and cheese.
Very
in
good.
it.
They're very good.
Great for dinner.
Yeah.
And they only cost like $2 pop.
Where do you get them? Are you
I
making,
get
are
mine.
you making them?
No, I don't make them. I have friends that do know how to make them. But I buy mine at La Placita Pupuseria
Okay.
off Campbell Road in Spring Branch.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Our next door neighbors made us some homemade ones.
Really?
Authentic.
Yes.
They're good.
They're
Trust
very
me.
good.
That's a great answer. That's a very unique answer. It's a very specific answer. But it was a great answer. All right. So, what is your favorite animal in the world of animals and great things?
Yes. Well, I'm glad you asked because this probably won't come to much of a surprise. The favorite animal of Sean Patrick McCoy is the monkey. A couple reasons why. Obviously, monkeys like to climb trees. So they're very adventurous. They like to climb all the place. They are they're into the details. Because like they'll eat the bugs out of their little ones.
They're into the details. That is an yes. Yeah, I never thought about it that way, but yeah, I guess they are.
And then, which I'm into the details with certain things like music.
You are so into the details about
musical
that. Yeah.
details. Very interested.
Yeah, you are.
Structural details. Give somebody else
so
that
much.
car
Right,
to
right.
drive. But
Yeah.
music, please.
What's not to love about monkeys? I mean,
They can be kind of scary.
Yeah.
Orangutans,
Yeah, they're
gorillas,
scary, but
they can rip your arms
yeah.
off.
Anyway, yes. What's not to love about monkeys?
Yes.
If I was in your car right now and we were driving, what music is going to turn on in your car? Like, what's your jam these days?
Yeah. Man, there are so many.
So many.
There's so much music.
So much.
But my favorite band of all time. I know that's not the question.
No,
I'm
it's
gonna-
okay.
I'm
You
gonna
can
flip
answer
it
it this
around.
way. It's fine.
Favorite band of all time, and always will be, Reliant K.
Yeah.
Reliant K.
That's your favorite.
They are the soundtrack to my childhood.
And it just gets you every time, doesn't it?
It's timeless. It's like there's literally times where I'm like, I have no idea what to listen to. The music that I listen to in those moments, Reliant K.
Okay.
Always hit the spot every time.
There it is.
They have a little bit of goof, and they have a little bit of like, this is how I really feel.
The Reliant K is very you. Like that
Very
is a
punky.
very, very fitting favorite band for you. I did know that answer, but yes.
Reliant K, know of songs we play. We hope you won't throw our CDs away. Ba-da-bum-bum.
Oh, thank you.
There it
Thank you
is.
for that. Okay, great answer. If you had no restrictions on time, on money,
Okay.
what is your favorite fun? Like, what's fun for Sean right now?
Oh
You
man,
could do anything you wanted.
I do enjoy escape games.
Yeah.
Even though I worked at one,
It's not just a plug.
I genuinely enjoy them.
Okay.
It's an expensive hobby, which is why I have not gone to one in a little bit. So when I did work at the escape game, our leadership team, we were required, and it was paid for by the company, we were required to take our leadership team within our store and go play an escape game every month.
Okay.
Shoot, man. Oh, we have to play an escape game together every month.
Too bad. But, okay. Very, very good answer. You are, and I'm moving on. You are newer to Houston. So, I mean, you haven't been here like super long, but you've been here long enough to have some things that you love about Houston. So, our great city of Houston, what is like one of your favorite things about Houston?
That's a great question.
Well, I try.
My favorite thing about Houston is the people
Okay.
and the mix of cultures.
Yeah.
I'm from Nashville. I wasn't born there, but I grew up there. Nashville is a diverse city, but it's segregated in its diversity.
Okay.
But here, baby, it's all just in one pot, and I love it. It's
a big
awesome.
pot.
Yeah. When I came here, this might sound, and I think when I said it out loud, people were like, "Sean, you gotta be careful, like how you say that." But
Is this something we're gonna have to edit later?
but no, I walked when I visited here in November of 2017.
Yeah.
It was like the very, very end. We were just coming to look at the location. I walked out and I was we had been in the city for a few hours, and I said, "Man, I don't think I've seen any white people." And people looked at me and I was like, no, that's a good thing. Like,
yeah, I meant that in a good way.
I meant that in a good way because I just came from a place where there's just a lot of one kind of person.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to just like not see that predominantly.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like I feel more comfortable.
Amazing.
When there's a lot of different kind of people. Even when I was eating lunch like after church last Sunday, and I was just looking around the table and I was like, we have so many different people represented here, and it's awesome. Like if I'm in a place where there's like predominantly white. If I'm predominantly white,
if you're gonna be honest,
if it's predominantly white, I'm like, this is weird. Like, there's too many white people in this room.
When diversity becomes so much a part of your, just like, it's so natural.
Yeah.
You really do notice it when the lack of it is there.
Yeah.
Well, I have something for you. It's not a surprise anymore because it's episode 4. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it still is a surprise to you. Maybe you forgot. But for all of my friends that come on, being the coffee lover that I am, and yes, we've all established this is not coffee, but I give all of my friends that come on a mug that I think symbolizes our relationship or what reminds me about that person or what's unique and well.
Okay.
I did a little homework on the mug that I got for you because it can't just be like a normal mug. It can't just be like one I got from the store.
Okay.
It's got to be, it had to be right.
Yeah.
And so I got you this mug to commemorate one of the first songs that we've written together. It will not be the last song.
Definitely not.
And it will probably not be the most of the impactful songs that
maybe not at large
advance the kingdom
I was
of God. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. But we were at our staff retreat earlier at the beginning of the summer, and we were both very inspired by an experience of our staff having to herd some cattle. There were just some black cows that got in the fence, and we had to get them out. And so it was an ordeal. It was hilarious.
It was very funny.
It was so funny watching everybody run around like they've lost their mind, and all these city people out in the country. and our very own Earl Smith, our campus director, who's amazing, he's running around after these cows, and he said this phrase. He said, "Go on get!
Go on get!
Go on get!"
Go on
he
get.
kept saying it. And it actually led to us writing a whole song about it. Wait, I gotta give you the mic first.
Okay.
Grab your guitar.
Okay.
So we actually already recorded it in the footage, so we'll just throw it in there. We already did the song for fun before the camera was rolling.
Black cow running with your dirty soul, don't be coming round here no more. Go on get. Even time coming, it feels like bliss. Call the cattle back and it sounds like this. You're late.
So maybe you'll see it and maybe you won't, but you'll be inspired if you do. So the mug I had to get you, I had to commemorate one of our first songwriting experiences together. And I had to order it off of Etsy because it had to be like a unique, like vintage thing. So
gosh.
This is your mug. And it's a cow. And it has a cow on the handle.
I love it.
And it's from like the 80s or like something. And actually, truth be told, it came as a set of 2, lo and behold. So guess who has the other one? Me.
You.
I do. So
oh my gosh.
I wanted the solid black cow because the cows were black.
Yeah.
However, that one had to do because it was so unique and so... This is the spirit of gonna get. It's gonna live forever. So
black cow running like he's heading for the hills.
Gonna get. So that's for you to take home. for
Wow.
your personal collection.
Thank you. I do have lots of mugs.
Yes, and so now when you think about that, you're going to remember those great times, and there's going to be many more to come because we're in a really fun season of songwriting, and so look out, City Life, because there's songs coming your way. But this song is a special song
Yes.
that will live forever.
Yes. in our
And
hearts.
the black cow will pretend like it's all black running for the hills.
Yep.
Go on and get. So there you go. Okay, as we're closing, as we're landing the plane here, as we're get back our focus. I just want you to share any final thoughts, encouragements. Like maybe if there's people that are in your position right now, like maybe younger leaders walking in to environments similar to
Yeah.
yours, or anything at all, just a final thought
Yeah.
or encouragement.
No, totally. I would say, do you want me to look at the camera? Is that what
You can look wherever you
okay.
want. You can talk to me. You can talk to the camera. I'm going to turn your
Young people.
mug around, though, so you
Oh,
can
yeah.
see the cow.
Young
Okay.
people, ask for help. Please ask for help. It does two things. One, it keeps you humble. Because I know that for me, I often want to just do everything myself and probably honestly want to prove myself. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't. But I can be very much in the mode of I'm just gonna do it myself, and if it works, it doesn't. Or sorry, if it works, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But ask for help. Actually, no, it does three things. So, one, it keeps you humble. Two, it brings other people.
Community.
It brings
Yeah.
community
Yeah.
into the conversation. God is a God of community. Him and in himself, he's, we believe he's three parts.
Yeah.
That's a community right there.
Right.
So as much as you can, always involve other people
Yeah.
in
That's great.
your adventures. I remember we had Jason Ingram, he's written stuff with Hillsong and stuff. We had him at one of our songwriting workshops, and he was saying if you do songwrite, come with something, but you don't necessarily have to come with everything.
Yeah.
And so, when you're creating, when you're doing anything, obviously you want to pour yourself into what you have, but don't make yourself think that this is it.
Yeah.
Include other people in it. I promise you, it's almost always better when you include other people in your stuff. So that's number two. And then the third thing, when you ask for help, especially with people who are older, it helps them feel valued. I know that whenever people come to me for advice, it feels good because it feels like your experience is valuable.
Yeah.
And so you can help other people feel valued and get some advice at the same time.
Yeah.
And now you have a community of people.
That's great.
So if you're stuck, reach out. Even if you're not stuck, sometimes just do it
Right.
anyway. Just reach out. You know what? Hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
Because maybe somebody has an idea brewing that you had no idea until you reached out.
Totally. That's really great encouragement. And two, I would say make room at your table. Make sure there's seats at the table for people who don't think like you, who don't look like you, who are not your age. And make sure that you're constantly looking behind you to see what your next leader is going to look like, because our time on earth is short. It feels like it's going to be forever, but it's going to be the blink of an eye, and we have got to build a legacy that lasts. We have got to, as a leader of our great movement, Pastor Steve Merle, his book 100 years from now, what is city life going to look like 100 years from now? What's Houston going to look like 100 years from now? And how are we building today for 100 years from now? And so you're a great part of that right now. You're a key piece of the puzzle that we believe God's brought here, and we're so glad to have you, and we're so glad that you guys listened into this conversation that we had, enjoyed some of our shenanigans, because there's plenty of them when the two of us are together, but we tried to hone it in. We focused. We tried anyway. So thank you.
At least we tried.
Yes, and thank you for coming along this ride of us, as we're creating this culture of why not. And so I would say, why not do something today that secures your legacy for 100 years from now? Why not?
cow pie in my field. Go on, get. That cow running with your dirty soul. Don't be coming round here no more. Go on, get. Even time coming, it feels like bliss. Call the cattle back and it sounds like this. Yodelay, ooh. Yodelay, ooh. Yodelay, ooh. Yodelay, ooh. That cow won't come on home, back on down that old dirt road. Go on, get.